Assalamu alaikum, my dear friends. I welcome all of you for the environmental classes. Today's class is for the 12th, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is hazardous wastes. According to US EPA, hazardous waste is defined as any solid, liquid, or gaseous substances which, by reasons of any physical, chemical, reactive, toxic, or infectious characteristics, cause danger to health or environment when improperly treated, stored, or transported or disposed of. Sources of hazardous wastes. Sources of hazardous wastes includes industries, petroleum refineries, transportation, coke ovens, blast furnace, sludges, scrapping salges, and biological waste, generating laboratories, thermal and nuclear power plants, and nuclear reactors. Classification of hazardous wastes. There are different kinds of classifications. Different countries have adopted different ways of classifying hazardous wastes. Number first is that a simple approach to classify hazardous waste is to consider these wastes into general categories such as toxic, inflammable, and radioactive, etc. Such as classification system helps the fire service to properly deal with the hazardous wastes under emergencies. Many countries, for example, UK, France, Germany, and Netherlands, follow a supplementary classification system for hazardous wastes along with the general classification system. However, in Japan, four types of wastes: visa, siliceous slags, acidic waste, and alkaline waste, which contain any of the nine materials. For example, there is cadmium, arsenic, mercury, lead, chromium, etc. And organic phosphates beyond permissible limits are considered to be hazards. In US, hazardous wastes are classified as per the Federal Register of May 1980. The US EPA, whether the material falls under the category of solid waste as defined by the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act of 1976. The term solid waste includes semi-liquids, liquids, and contained gaseous materials as well. Whether the waste has been legally discarded, the stipulation is applicable to the wastes that are stored or treated prior to disposal, but not to those to be recycled. Or whether the waste has a toxic or hazardous characteristics, that is, whether it has the potential to increase the mortality or illness, or whether it poses a substantial threat to the human health or environment on the basis of hazardous characteristics such as corrosivity, inflammability, toxicity, or explosiveness. As regards with human toxicity, a waste is considered to be hazardous if number one, it has an oral LD50 toxicity equal to or greater than 50 mg per kg. LD50 is the lethal dose to the toxic waste at which the 50% of the experimental animals die as a result of oral ingestion. And number second, it has an inhalation LC50 toxicity of 2 mg per kg. That is, LC50 is the lethal ambient concentration of toxic material in mg per liter of air, causing 50% mortality to the test rates during 4 hours inhalation. As regards to the hazards to health or environment, the following standards tests quantified by EPA as are considered. Number one, ignibility, that is whether the waste causes or enhances the fire, considers the following five basic criteria for the classification of hazardous wastes. Corrosivity, corrosivity, is that whether the waste destroys the tissue or metal. Toxicity, that is whether the substance pollutes the water supplies and threatens the health. Reactivity, that is whether the substance reacts violently or causes explosions. As far as the toxicity to the groundwater is concerned, the 14 contaminants, 8 metals, for example, lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, chromium, barium, selenium, silver, pesticides, lendine, iridine, toxaphene, methoxy, chlor, and two herbicides 24D and 245T are considered to be hazardous. Thank you for my dear friends for watching me.